It's a valid point. It's a valid point because, quite frankly, the most valuable thing you have in your life is time. And if you're wasting your time, and hey, we're all to use our time the way you want to use it, but quite frankly, when you're forced to use your time on something else and someone else is wasting your time, that's when it upsets me a little bit more too. So we'll talk about today's topic. So basically, I stole the topic from other people because that's what we're about in real estate. So it's not my, that's a creative way to put things. It basically said, How I Met Your MOFIR. Okay. And Lawrence and I were talking about this a few days ago, and he goes, Joe, what's a MOFIR? And so I said, well, jump on the session, Lawrence, and you'll learn what a MOFIR is, okay? So let me just make sure I hit okay here. So that being said, who can tell me what a MOFIR is? Interesting, interesting.
Making an
It is made
offer,
offer
make
of
an offer for immediate response.
Awesome. Making an offer for immediate response, MOFIR, MOFIR. So that being said, what business are we truly in? What's the business we're truly in?
Relationships.
Okay, relationships. What's the true business we're in? Without this, there is no business.
Lead gen.
You are in the lead generation business. Okay. In lead generation, you could break it down a couple different ways. One of them being marketing, okay, and one of them being prospecting. Who could tell me the difference between marketing and prospecting?
Marketing is like your branding, and prospecting is like money making activity.
Okay, so we've established. Yeah, okay, Pinky, we're good. We're going to run with that, okay? So because I like you, okay. So basically, you're in a lead generation business. No leads, no business. Go home. That's been my approach for years, okay. So you have to generate business. Now, Lawrence said relationship building. Well, if you have nobody to talk to, well, there's no relationships to be built. So we're ultimately in the lead generation business, and it really kind of breaks down to how you generate leads. Well, there's marketing and there's prospecting. One is a little bit more passive, one is a little bit more aggressive. What is marketing? Passive or aggressive?
Passive, I guess.
Passive, okay? Because marketing is simply this. It's really, I took a listing, I'm going to post things on social media, I'm going to do flyers, I'm going to put a sign up. That's all marketing. You need that. And by doing those things, you'll attract people to contact you. Hey, Pinky, I see that you have a listing on 123 ABC Street. Can you tell me more about it? Blah, blah, blah. So you're really doing lead generation activity, but it's more passive by doing marketing, okay? Prospecting is an aggressive way to get yourself out there. And a MOFIR is a more active way to get prospecting into a movement area, okay? So what I'm saying is when you're prospecting, you're doing things that can generate leads as quickly as possible. Now, give me some lead generation skills or tasks that you do for prospecting. Just shout them out. What do you do to prospect?
Cold call, door knock, open houses.
Okay. Open houses, okay. Walk a farm,
Popeyes, networking
exactly.
activity.
Those are all active and aggressive. Now, that's you going out and getting the business, right? Now, it's you trying to generate some people to say yes. It's you making the initial contact, okay? A MOFIR is a little bit of a twist on that. What a MOFIR is that you're going to do things that are going to be creating an activity to get people to respond to you, okay? And what I mean by that is you have to first define what's the problem you can solve for people, okay? So let's take the current real estate market we're in right now. Talk to me about some problem that you can solve for either a buyer or a seller or a tenant. What's a problem for a buyer today?
Finding a house.
Finding a house. Bingo. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Pinky, I'm going to give you some money just for this. Okay. So with that,
I'm just being your assistant right today. I don't
good,
want to answer all the questions.
Okay.
You taught me.
So really, the problem a buyer has today is finding a home. And the inventory is gaining a little bit, but still the challenge is that way. Another problem in a buyer finding a home is not only finding a home, and this problem is starting to wane a little bit, but it's also how do you win to get the home? What is the multiple offer situation you put them in? Okay. So I define that problem as, yes, the problem I want to solve for a potential buyer is finding a home and minimizing the multiple bid situation. Now, that's a problem. I define that in this current market as a problem. Fast forward a year from now, that might not be a problem. So your MOFIRs have to be tailored around the market of the moment, okay? Not tailored around, hey, I'm going to do a MOFIR. It's great to find buyers in multiple offers when that's not the market. So you have to understand by setting up a MOFIR, you need to define the problem. and you have to have a solution for the problem, okay? So now I'm defining, as an example, we're going to go finding a buyer, and finding a home for that buyer and putting them in a position where they're not going to be in multiple bid situation. How can you solve that problem, or how can you help people think or put them in a mindset you're helping them solve that problem? What can you do? What can you offer them? Okay, let's take this. Well, you're looking at Garden State MLS as an example. You get them set up on a search. So is every other real estate agent out there. Is that pretty accurate? Right? Now, what can you do to find them a property that no one else is looking at? I call them off-market properties. Off-market opportunities, okay? So give me a couple off-market opportunities. What's an off-market opportunity?
Withdrawn, expired,
private sellers,
FSBOs, expires, old expires, withdrawals, pre-foreclosures,
pre-foreclosures,
absentee owners, pre-foreclosures, investors, absentee owners. So you could find 5 or 6 or 7 different things that you can help do research. And I believe me, I just closed on a deal not too long ago. It was an off-market opportunity. Okay. So my buyers were happy as a clam. They picked up a house at $550, in my opinion, was worth $585. They made $35,000 by walking in the door. Okay. So that was an off-market opportunity they didn't have. I'd say they lost a couple other opportunities as a result of being in a bidding war situation, presenting good offers. So my MOFIR needs to be tailored around what can I show them in my marketing of that MOFIR that I'm offering off-market opportunities that and how it benefits them. So the benefit to a buyer today through my MOFIR is going to be I research off-market opportunities for buyers, taking them out of the picture of multiple bids and also putting them in a picture of buying the property for market value or maybe even less, saving that money. Okay. Call me to discuss one of those 7 opportunities, whatever you decide. It's a MOFIR I'm putting out there because the problem I see with the buyer today is that buyer really saying, I'm getting frustrated. If multiple offer after multiple offer, I can't see inventory, blah, 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 blah. Now you potentially solve a problem. And just so you guys know, I don't have any statistics for this, or let's just call them Joe Kozoh statistics because I make them up. Okay. But Joe Kozoh statistics says that probably about 20 to 25% of the inventory of homes are not even being marketed out there for sale by owners, old expires, whatever it might be. Okay. That's opening a door for 20 to 25% more inventory for a potential buyer. So my thought to you guys is this: put out the MOFIR that indicates, hey, if you're looking to find off-market opportunities, I have resources to do that, saving you money, putting you in a better position. They're not a good situation and getting the right home. Contact me to discuss those opportunities. Okay. Now, if that's the problem you're solving, you said now it's a problem of the market. Now you're saying to yourself, okay, now I'm in a position I could say to myself, great, I understand how I could solve their problem. Now it's about how do I market that MOFIR to them. So give me some basic ways and who would you market it to in offering that MOFIR? What would you do? Give me some simple things that you can offer to the world. Okay.
Mailers or
Okay.
no? Well, I know you don't like mailers, so
No,
you always say
I don't mind.
mailers
I don't mind mailing. I don't mind mailing if you're specific, target specific on that. Okay. So
right.
Okay, let's run with this, Lawrence. If you're doing mailings with regards to that MOFIR, who would you mail that to? Where are these people at right now? Do they own or do they rent?
Rentals.
They rent.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So what I might do is, hey, Nina, how you doing?
Hi, good, good.
Good.
I was just gonna say, social media is a big one.
Social media, perfect.
Yeah.
Social media. If you can do mailings, as Lauren said, I would do mailings to rental communities. Okay, but I want to do it to low end rental communities. If the rental community is generating, let's say 12, not that you can find it, but say $1,500 to $1,800 in rent, that's average. That's probably not too much the buyer moving up. I would look at something that's going to be a little bit higher, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 or more. More than likely, they're not going to be in that rental very long. So, but now their problem is that, geez, I can't find a property. I can't find a property and work with somebody. So my thought to you guys is in doing that MOFIR, if you can do a mailing to those type of communities. Okay. Social media, I would do it definitely in social media. Okay. And have a call to action. That call to action is call me. If it's a QR code or whatever it might be, let them scan it so they can get whatever it might be. It's got to be a call to action. So if you're offering a MOFIR, make sure that you're looking at what the problem is, have a solution problem for the problem, and you're marketing to the community of that makes sense. Don't just do a general mass marketing to the world unless you know that that's just going to be something that's based around the world. Okay, and that's something anybody can look at. So when you're looking at the figure out the problem, okay, market the message is going to be important. Also, don't get married to your MOFIR. What I mean by that, and it sounds kind of weird, right? Don't get married to your MOFIR. Yeah, I'm not going to marry my mom. What's the point of that? You know, so don't get married to your MOFIR, because you try something, it's probably not going to work, or maybe it will work. If you're sending out, let's take Lawrence with mailings, and Lawrence, you're going to send out to 500 mailings. You're going to do it 3 times in the next 2 months, 4 months, 3 months, whatever it might be, and you're getting 0 response. Well, your MOFIR is not working. Okay, it's simply not working. Okay, but again, it's make offer for immediate response. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. So social media gets you more of an immediate response. Texting, if you have people that are friends of yours, do group texting. Okay, text to people that you have, but it might be a little bit more specific. It might not be about them buying a home. It might be more about them selling a property. Okay, so if I use that as a reason to solve a problem, I'm going to market the problem, but I'm not going to be married to it. But I'm getting response in it. Now, one of my favorite MOFIRs that I use pretty much all the time, especially in this market, is simply this. I do it in my mailings to my database. Okay, this is to my database of old expireds. Okay, of which I probably have, if I took a look, I'd say maybe I have an excess of 400 to 500 old expireds. Old, I mean going back to 2017 up until 2015 to 2020. So 5-year range, and Lord knows how many different towns. Okay, I'd say probably have 400 to 500 old expireds. Part of my MOFIRs is this: when I send out a mail piece or in my text messages to them, it says this in quotes, if let's say John and Mary, please answer this question. And in quotes say, if I can get X for my home, I would sell it immediately. Okay. Now what happens with that MOFIR is I'm looking for a quick response. I have a QR code there too. It gives them, they can log to one of my sites. Okay. In that QR code, I get people saying this, $1 million, Joe. And you know, the property might be worth 600,000. I don't care. That's an opportunity for me to open a door now to talk to them. Hey, Nina, great. Listen, I saw you said $1 million. That's great. That's awesome. Do you really think your house is worth $1 million today? I don't really know what my offer, my house is worth. Great. Well, now it's a conversation I have with Nina. If anything else happens with Nina, I've now developed a solid relationship with her. Hey, Nina, why don't I do this? Why don't I put together, and on my conversation might be this, a value range market analysis to what the current market value of your home might be. It'll cost you nothing. I'll send it to email. Does that work for you? Yes, it is. Great. And you move forward. But if establish that relationship with Nina at this point, and doing that, at some point in time, Nina either knows somebody's going to buy or sell, she's going to buy or sell, or whatever it might be. So that's a contact.
That is true. I think that is true. The persistence part, it can be annoying people, but you know, people do come back. I've seen that. And the only other thing, Joe, I had to ask you was all these WhatsApp people are sending random, right? I'm getting all this Coldwell Banker, Remax. Obviously, they think I'm selling or buying or whatever. Do you feel that those, I just delete them? Do you think people are getting success on that? Just a question out to the to everybody.
So to your point, Nina, is this: is that if you're solving a problem and that's their problem, they're going to contact you. Simple as that. If the problem that they're trying to solve is not something you care about, you know, then you're not going to contact them. Okay. But the consistency of any message you put out there is going to be important too. So that basically is in a nutshell a MOFIR. But talk about this. What other problems are in a market we can solve today? I talked to you about one of them. What buyers? Give me another problem that we have in today's market that you might be able to solve. Talk about from a seller standpoint. What's a seller's problem today? They want to buy, but
they don't have a home that they can move into. Like they don't have something that they can find for themselves.
Perfect. That's great. Okay. So their problem is, where am I going to go? I could sell my property in a heartbeat. Where am I going to go? Here's what I'm going to tell you this. This is where you need to get creative in your MOFIR. You need to connect with somebody. And I have a buyer right now that's an old expired. I picked up. Their concern is, where do I go, Joe? I haven't been able to find a home. I haven't connected with a mortgage person that is a friend of mine and theirs. We just happen to know the same person, okay? And they've got them already set up that they could buy a home without having to sell their home. So they qualify that way, not a problem. So you need to get creative with that person and say, have you ever explored an option of purchasing a home first and then putting your home on the market? Would that work for you? Because now what it says is, I'm not going to move out of this cave until I have another cave. So now it's saying is, I have that other cave, but I don't need to sell this cave. But I know when I find it and move into the other cave, I can get this on the market pretty quick. See, that's an opportunity of a problem that I see with people. Not to mention, what's the other problem? I'm going from a 3% mortgage to a 6%. Okay. So now it's a matter of showing them the numbers part of that. So how do you present that MOFR? What's a problem? How do you present that MOFR in a way that's going to make sense? Well, get connected with Viva, whoever might be a mortgage person, start to do some numbers, and also start to think about, the increase in the value of properties, and start working numbers that way too. Their properties now, they're selling for 4, but they're buying at 6. If they're trading up, how does it benefit them? They could take the money. So you can start to work all that stuff. So how you present that MOFR and how you present it to those people, for me, it's old expireds, could be important for you as well. Okay. But what it is generating that instant response, because you can market yourself all day. Hey, I'm the #1 realtor. Give me a call. That's great. It's a call to action. Give me a call. It's not really, it's a lot of fluff. Do something that makes sense, that they have a problem that you were going to solve. Okay. Here's another one. Services. Okay. Or here's what it takes from a seller standpoint. And I see this happen a lot. I don't know if it's you guys see that or not. People are doing things that are home prior to selling that they just wasted their time, energy, and money on. Okay. They just replace this, replace that. It wasn't going to get them anything more in value. So can you offer them services in reference to understanding what you should do or should not do to get your home ready for sale? Putting more money in your pocket, allowing you the opportunity to go ahead and take that money and make a purchase. Okay. So again, is that a problem? Well, not for everybody, but for people thinking about selling, it could be. It could be if you have a geographical farm, you could start to talk that way too. So, so if you start to look at all those things, look at what the problem is, look at how you can define a problem, how you can solve the problem, and be prepared to solve it right away. Okay. And I'll give you an example. When I did that, if I could sell my home for X, I got like 3 or 4 responses. And the first time I ever did is, oh my God, this is like a really A1. But what I found was that I wasn't prepared to solve the problem, because I was like, okay, I could talk to them and all. But then I started putting together a value range market analysis through RPR, make it elaborate, seem like I spent hours and hours and hours on it. Then they appreciate it, So, and it has picked up 2 listings for me, okay, over the past year or so. So from that standpoint, it's immediate response. It's don't be married to it, making sure you market that message as clearly as possible. Cash offer programs are out there too for MOFRs too. So there's a lot involved with having a MOFR be beneficial to you. Trial and error, guys. Trial and error. Put yourself out there. Do things that make sense. Offer something. I had something years ago. It was an 888 number, okay, and allow people to call in to get immediate response for a market analysis, and they would get a recording. And all I had to do was leave their name, their street address, and I would send them a market analysis. And that's all I needed, because once they called me, I had their number. And since they had to give me an email address, I had their email address. So it was a simple thing I used for an 888 number. This is going back years ago, but it generated a lot of response. And they would do the same type of ads in a newspaper. For you guys, a newspaper, it's printed on material like this, you young people. So in case you don't know what a newspaper is, Google it. It'll give you some idea what that's all about too. So what questions do you have for me in a MOFR? Because I'm going to show you a quick video. Is there any questions you have for me on it? Is this helpful for you guys?
Definitely.
Yes?
Very,
Yeah.
Okay.
very.
I'm going to
Yes,
show you a
very
quick 1 minute.
helpful.
I'm going to show you a quick 1 minute video, and I'm going to come back and then I'll let you guys go. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Hopefully this come out. Okay. This guy does MOFRs all over the place. Okay. Okay, you see my screen?
Yes.
I got you.
We can't hear it. Can you guys hear it?
No,
No.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No.
Sound.
Oh, okay, so I don't know why you can't hear it.
You have to, Lawrence, you have to click the share. When you allow him to share, there's a button that with the
Can you
video.
see? Can you guys see the video?
Yes.
Audio.
No, my
So
audio is
yeah,
on.
you have
So
to click on a button that allows for the sharing with audio.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah. I mean, it's all
Yeah, I don't see a button here on my part of it.
yeah, I don't have a
No, on the bottom, when you Joe, when you share, right on the bottom, there is like on the left corner, it says
Yeah.
share sound. So share sound, and then on the right corner, it says share. Before you hit share, before you share the screen, there is a left on the left corner. It says share sound, and you have to click on that and then start sharing.
Okay.
Did you see?
Share.
Oh, the little arrows, you mean,
Yeah.
right?
Arrows on the left of my screen.
No, before you share.
Before you start
Before you
sharing.
share button
Right.
is towards the very right, and towards the very left, it says share with sound. You just check mark that.
Check mark.
I don't see a share with sound.
Okay,
Speaker.
okay. Let's go again. So when you start sharing, that there's a green button, share screen, right? You
Yeah.
click that. There is a white screen that comes on your desktop.
Okay.
On that white screen on the left,
Yes.
on the bottom left, you will see a block that has a check mark that you have to check, and it says share sound. So
Got it.
check that off before you start sharing.
Got it. Let's try this now. Better?
And now we can.
Yep.
Good.
Yep,
We're
good
good.
to go.
So the number one job.
All this technology drives me nuts. I gotta tell you.
Yes.
You're a genius, Joe. You can do that.
Following us.
Well, let's try this again. There you go.
Yes.
So the number one job of real estate agents in today's market is to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. You see, there's this gem that's buried on page 61 of the shift book that talks about this kind of cringy word that's called MOFIR. If you're not familiar with it, MOFIR means make offer for immediate response. You see, lead generation starts with making offers that motivated buyers and sellers are going to actually respond to. I think when you create an effective MOFIR, you're really putting the intersection between what's going on in the market and what are the pain points of the buyers and sellers in today's market. And right now, what we're seeing is there's a lot of buyers that want to buy, but have to sell their house. So our MOFIR right now is our One Move program that allows people to buy a house while still owning their current house.
All right. So again, I would follow him if you guys, he's got some pretty good information in reference to MOFIRs. If you don't know what this book is, and I'm blurred, but it's Shift Book. I'm gonna suggest you guys get this book and read this book. It's by Gary Keller. I mean, there's so many gems in there; it's unbelievable too. But the MOFIRs is in there. I was like, I never read a MOFIR in this book. I never read that part of it until he pointed out here at page 61. I had no idea it was even in there. It's one of those things that's so small, it gets brushed over. So, but do you guys have questions for me?
Can you tell me the name of that guy again?
Yeah.
Yep. Hold on a second there. Let's go back. Hold on a second here.
Can you put it in the chat, Joe? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat here. So I think I have the link here. Yeah. Yeah, the link's in it. The link is in the chat. So okay, good. From a MOFIR standpoint, so I'm all about action too. If you guys walk away here and say, hey, this is the BS session, that's great. What it is. But my thought to you guys, what action are you gonna take moving forward?
I like the the help the sellers buy before they sell. MOFIR, I think that's a really, really good idea, because I actually do have a situation like that now where my seller is actually moving to Kentucky, but she didn't buy yet. So her home sale is contingent on her buying and buying in Kentucky. So that definitely makes that's, I mean, she did start the process of going down there and looking at and stuff like that, but it makes the situation a lot more easier when you have that option. So I think that's a really, really big one for me.
So
as well as the researching off listing.
What's your next step then, Lawrence? What's your next step?
My next step is to create my MOFIR that's based around this, with my call to action to address services that I can provide by helping my sellers buy before they list their homes. And also by doing so, by looking at off-market listings such as expireds, withdrawals, things like that. And then I can help them get into, like you said, the situation that you had recently of helping someone save you know, thousands of dollars, and not have to get into a bidding war.
All right. So my thing is write it out on a piece of paper.
Mhm.
What's my MOFIR? Write it out. Okay, my MOFIR
Right.
is this. What's the problem I'm solving? Write it all out. Okay. Okay. How am I going to market that MOFIR? And how's it going to read? And you got to keep it simple, by the way. The tendency, I think, for people, they complicate any kind of marketing, and also when you're reading a book. People don't have time to read a book. It's got to be short and sweet. If I can get X for my home, I would seriously consider selling it. Okay. You know, so it's simple. You can't complicate that. What else is somebody going to do? Again, I'm all about action. So
Right.
I'm assuming nobody's going to do anything else.
Before we move on, I have one question. Like, if we are asking the person to buy a house, right? Mostly people are buying a second house using the money from the first house, right? So
Mhm.
how they will buy a house without selling the house? Like, if a person is selling, that he'll use that money to buy another house, correct?
So you have to have a plan for that, a
Yeah.
strategy, Raj. Okay, so your plan would be maybe, and I'm just thinking off the cuff here, solutions to buying a home before having to sell a home. You know, listen, here are my 5 solutions to buying a home and not needing to sell your home, or whatever it might be. You come up with something that's going to be a little catchy. Learn about the five solutions and buying a home without needing to sell your home. You know, and then you have to figure out what those solutions are, and then get connected with a mortgage person. Okay, good question though. Very good question. You know, here's something I'm working on now. And you guys can take this and run with it if you want. Because we're in such an economy right now where everything is costing a lot more, and people are struggling. I saw a statistic just the other day, of course, on TV, but assuming it's correct because it's on TV. Statistics said that there's more credit card debt in this country than we've had in like 30 years. Wow, that's amazing to me. That's huge. Okay. And more people are pulling money out of their 401ks and their whatevers, their investments, to stay alive, stay afloat than they've ever done before. So although it's a great time to be an investor, but if you can take money out because you just need the money to live, people are doing that. But what money are they sitting on right now that the bank that they're sitting on, they don't even know? What's that money?
Their homes, if they have
Their
it.
homes, the equity in their home. So if
Mhm.
they bought their home 3 years ago, let's just play with numbers here. Okay. And again, this is something I'm working on how I want to word this. Let's just say they've increased their property in their house they bought it for, and increase only 5% per year. That's a 15% increase. Okay. That's $60,000. Okay. Let's assume they put 20% down. So they got their 60, 20% down on that as another 80, sitting on 140, maybe $150,000 of equity. Now, they might not need it all. They might need it all. And you know, it's interesting because you guys know what a HELOC is, right? Home equity line of credit. Okay. So there are lenders out there that will offer HELOCs. It's funny because I get stuff like this in an email to me all the time. Hey, you want to interest? I'm like, no, I have no interest to do that. But they might be sitting on 150, 200, 300, 400,000. Now, if you go to RPR, and it's not 100% accurate, and you pull up their information, and at the top of the screen in RPR, when you pull up the screen to say how much equity they have in their home. So you might do a little research and find out Mr. and Mrs. Jones have $200,000 in equity. Okay. Maybe they can grab some equity out and then make the purchase of they need a new roof, or they need to stay alive, as opposed to pulling money out of their 401ks or IRAs, whatever they might have, right? So that might be something of a problem that you can help them solve the problem. And by pulling that HELOC out, it's whatever the rate is, and it'll probably be about 6 or 7%, but they're doing it at a short-term range, you know. So, and they don't have to pull out 150 grand. They could pull out 20 grand, just maybe have them get by, as opposed to pulling money out of an investment that they have. So that's a problem, trying to see how I can solve it. But that's connecting with a couple companies that offer HELOCs, okay, for those opportunities. So just another problem I'm just going with in reference to that too. So right. I think we're past our time here, but is there any other questions you guys have?
No, that was really good, Joe.
Okay.
Focused.
If you need to see an outline for a MOFIR, I'll put my email in here, and you could just go ahead and just shoot me an email, and I will. So what's my email address? Anybody know?
Joe Kozoh at whatever.
At kw.com? No?
No, I don't do the KW thing.
Joe
Oh,
at
yeah.
joekozoh.com.
Yeah, Joe at jkozo-associates.com. If you have an interest, I'll send you basically playbook of MOFIRs. Okay, it's 2 pages I have. It's pretty much what I had discussed. Okay, but if you need to, just shoot me an email. I'll send it over to you so you have it. And if you need any help at any MOFIRs you decide to put together, just reach out to me, or you want to run one by me. I'll discuss that with you as well. Okay. Anything else?
Can you share your number as well?
My cell number's. What's my cell number? Oh, by the way, I bought 3 new phones yesterday from Verizon.
Joe, don't give the 1-888 number that you used years ago.
No, because that's a porn line right now. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's
And Joe's
Oh my
lesson
God.
to all of us is remember your phone number. If the buyer says, how can I reach you? Da, 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 da. I know Joe's teasing.
Nina, I've had this number here since my first cell phone, and this has to go back 25 years now.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I actually fought for this number. I didn't fight to get it. This number was given to me when I went from one company to another, and they said you have to get a new phone number. I said I want to keep this phone, and that's back then where you really had to get a new number. I fought for it, and I got the number, and I've had this number for so long. My email address I've had for I'd say at least 25 plus years at this point. So, but not to say how old I'm in a business, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. But if you want to run a MOFIR by me, if you just have some thoughts on it, run it by me. I'd be more than happy to discuss that with you. I think it's a great opportunity for us to look at that as another creative way to have people contact you, as opposed to you're always having to go out and get people. And if you solve the problem, you might find 1 or 2 to really hit home runs on, boom, and then resurface them. But always think about the market that you're in. Is that problem a problem of the market that we're in? Okay, good. Guys, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Joe. Thank you,
guys.
Joe.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for setting it up. Okay.
Thanks a lot. You guys have a great
Thanks,
one.
Joe.
I'm in the office till
Thank you,
whatever. Come by and see me if you guys are in the area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stop by. I'm having a
Lawrence
whole party.
Lawrence is buying lunch. He's buying everybody lunch. Okay, so see you guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.